yeah, Villa Savoy is a complete failure when it comes to architecture, but because it was an experiment, it showed how to improve upon the design concept. So Villa Savoy, because it was built on stilts, the way the foundation was immediately integrated with the concrete, the elevating it off the floor, it leaked, can't complain, can't sue, does the work, it's uninhabitable. But that concept was the first iteration of this could be something new, and it was. And then just continuing with that, I would say most modern apartment blocks is based on that little house that was a failure, but it created such more success.
It's not the current rooster.
It's probably, but the design was that it would have leaked no matter what. Unfortunately. But it's a reason it still stands today as an attraction for architects.
Right. I was about to say the same Villa Savoy is the four, right?
Yeah. Who criticized Villa Savoy incredibly in his later life.
You see? So now this same person that we just talking about, he criticized his own work also, right? When I think I was reading one of his autobiographies written by someone else, I forgot the book, but it's the Clues or something, right? And it went through a life where we never learned about in school, right? Like where he grew up, like he grew up in the France or something where they did watches. And like the family was, his family was watching.
I don't know where he grew up, but what you're saying, it sounds more like Lyon, close to Switzerland or something.
Yeah, it's around those, so that's where he's from, right? So his family was mainly watchmakers. So he grew up in a place where it was literally precision. Because don't forget, right now they are the biggest country that sells, or should I say, have the biggest names and makes the best watches.
Switzerland and Japan, yeah.
Yeah. So now you have that guy, right? And then he went out and explored architecture from literally material standpoint. When he was in a context where everything was being classified, all these different stuff. And due to the fact that he worked for a concrete engineer, and he's also from our design family, but he's also a very precise person. And he really criticizes almost every single thing. They don't like him, but they love him, but they don't like you, right?
Yeah.
And then he goes through a point when he designed one of his worst buildings, right? Which is not the Villa Savoy.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's not that one. I hate that building. But then as time went on, he then did one project, same time with that other project, and he forgot the name for it. He did the iconic prayer where it was in concrete.
Yeah, that was for Villa Savoy.
Yeah. So now that same one, right? At the same time, he was busy designing laddish. Like pure rubbish, right? And then you got sued for that also. You got sued for that also. Yeah. The client wanted his money back. He actually went to work in Paris as a painter. And then he went and claimed that painting is part of architecture. That's why I started painting here. I wanted to see. But anyway, that's the nice thing about this guy, because I sit back and I look at how he went from literally a nobody who was coming from a watchmaking, right? To someone who that is now creating.
He did the parliament buildings in India, which were guys that did nothing to designing the parliament of a country.
See what I'm saying? Like, and it's funny because he went through a time when he had nothing. He literally speak with a spinner. Do you know what?
That's we're encouraging that you should stay with your friends while you are becoming an architect.
We're gonna try that. Oh, yeah, it's not like, okay, listen to my friends out there. Don't worry, I have my own place.
Yeah, can't you hear that? He has a couch.
No, I don't know that.
If you study architecture, go for it. He's open for it.
I have tables in my place, okay? Just tables, white tables, a lot of them. There's no station.
I will donate a mattress if you go there.
Alright, but other than that, my place is full of paintings. If you come, you'll just see. I literally started watercolor. I think you're not on my WhatsApp. Yeah. So I literally started watercoloring and stuff like that, like last year, right? And yeah, it was just that experiment, and it was clear as I was doing it that he was right, because you don't actually have control. You have control, but you don't actually have control. Because once you put that paint on the thing, you start imagining what else could be there.
I think Franco told us for water painting, you have to manage chaos. Yeah.
My point.
Yeah, I can't paint to save my life with watercolors. I do it in Photoshop. But because I couldn't manage the chaos.
Yeah. It is chaotic.
Funny enough, I also recently started painting with my 6-year-old niece. We're using acrylic on canvas, building the canvases from scratch. Funny enough, she actually hijacked my attempt to paint something for her mother on a 1.5 by 1 meter canvas, and then she took that over, and then we have to figure out how to do the rest of the canvases without offending her.
Oh, this is just a
Nice.
painted all one way. Love way.
Well, I'm assisting. Basically, the aim is to encourage art. You know,
Managing chaos right there.
oh, really, actually, she started when she was 5, with canvases, and then with T-shirt painting. It was 3.5, 4.
Okay.
But you realize that what you bring more is literally a way to influence the rhyme from the entry, because now if managing chaos, imagine you can manage chaos from and you start finding ways to maneuver that same skill into different things, right? Now you actually look at spaces and you can see where this space is spinning out. What if I actually put a lounge? I know there's a bit dumpy material related to that, but you're actually now painting with space. You know, that makes sense.
Let me ask the last question for the episode. What advice would you give somebody for design in architecture?
Honestly speaking, developing an intellectual library of past design can help you identify your intuitive nature and to mold it in a much more expressive and powerful way, right? The thing about it is, when I decided to become an architect, I was in love with the matrix, right? And I wanted to be an amalgamation between the oracle and the white architect, the architect.
Okay, yes,
Right.
the architect.
The architect, right?
The mother and the father of the matrix.
Yes. So, and in my understanding of architecture, I got more than what I initially thought it was, because now, in terms of the design of digital spaces, that's beyond the matrix. It's behind the matrix. I am now part of the designers of the construct.
The matrix was, as we can see today, way ahead of its time.
Yes.
So, now, like I said, in order for one to understand design process, it's also a good idea to understand the history of design processes, so that you are not stuck reinventing a wheel when it's already been refined.
Formed by previous experimentations of the design.
Not necessarily that you should inhibit your own desires to design, because you also have the liberation to design in your own way. It is not restrictive. It's just meant to liberate you, so that you understand that the paper is blank and you have authority over it with your own intellectual ability. Yeah.
And
What advice would you give?
Like, the advice I would give is just be enthusiastic and look forward to what's ahead. Because before I even went into architecture, I was more of an artsy person, but at the same time I was a science and purpose and that's whatever. Alright? But one thing that I always said to myself, or to people that asked me why I kept on sketching, right, was that I haven't yet drawn my best work. Yeah, I haven't yet drawn my best work, and I'm looking towards that, right? So now when I got into architecture, it was the same thing. I haven't yet done my best coding, right? And every single time when I perform one-on-one, I'm not really excited, because I'm like, I wonder what the next one's gonna be.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know, but just being enthusiastic to say, next one, you know, or her. Yeah, probably is that. But then what you just said is literally part of that, because you can't say you're designing something new if you don't know if it's me. But you know, so she's right. So I also would suggest you study. You go to your history, you understand where they do stuff. And then you ask yourself what's next. And if you don't see anyone who's going to do something different next, then you be the person. you know?
So if you're asking corner one, everything, let's hear your green truck and she version.
Did you? I agree with both of you. What I would add is something that Errol Peter said. It's called blank page syndrome, where you have a white page, you don't want to make a mistake on it. So the first thing you do is you take a big black pen and draw one line across it. The page isn't clean anymore, isn't white. Now you can just experiment, just try something, just sketch. Just see as you inform from the histories, as you experiment, as you see what is new, just put it out. Just do it. Just put it out. The first 1,000 is not going to be perfect. But by doing it, you train yourself intellectually. You're creating a library of design, see what works. And then go critique someone. Go ask someone, what do you think? Don't be afraid. If somebody tells you, it's okay, it's not nice, you're doing it well, tell them, I want honesty. If it's crap, tell me it's crap and why is it crap. So they can say, you tried this area, go look at that person in history, how they did it, see how this sketch, and that will inform, that'll give you a direction to go into when it's. So just do it, just draw.
You know, one thing I would like to just put on top of what you just said is the fact that a lot of people that have seen my work would be like, I can't sketch like you, I can't do it. And I'm sitting and I'm laughing at the fact that I didn't know how to sketch. You yourself gave me pointers late night when I was in studio learning how to sketch.
And today I see you have surpassed me by far. And you had it. And again today I am teaching myself to sketch.
Yeah. But then you already have a baseline.
Yeah.
But now back to that point again. Yeah, I had to come to you and ask you. Like I couldn't just sit at my table and say, no, my next sketch is gonna be better. No, I had to sit there and be like, okay, I don't know if this is trash or good. Who's here? Peter is busy building models, and he builds great models, by the way. Beautiful models and big models. So I go to him, he's busy with this crew guy there, like building a lot of the covers the whole table, and I have to walk from that spot just looking at it like, jeez. And then I get to him, and I'm like, what do you think about my tree? And he says, come on. And then he just gives me a pointer, and then, and something you didn't know, right? I used to get like nonsense during the day.
Yeah.
Like people saying, no, like there was people who were better than me at sketching. Literally. And the only person that I was with at night that would say something like, no, you're going to be good at it.
Yeah.
Was actually me. Late night. This is the honest truth, right? Peter, Crystal would sometimes jab at it, but he was an extra, so he doesn't want to be there, right? But then the one person who I would go to and then say, keep practicing, just do this. Why here? I honestly have to give respect to that.
One thing I need to say quick, right? Drawing is key. There are some people who are afraid of the paper to the point where they don't want to express themselves through drawing. First year, you're getting coached in terms of presentation techniques, the art of drawing. That is a skill that is as ancient as cave paintings. It is not redundant.
So it has. So 56,000 years?
Yep.
56,000 years.
Yeah, oldest one is in close to George.
He'll meet him.
So, but then it is a very important thing, sadly, and it's not something we can ignore. A bit like now,
Bit. Yeah, that's just the bit.
Well, I think we gave our conclusion with the design of architecture, but so you can finish off the podcast. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Follow us, email us, especially her. She knows what she's doing.
Well, that's relative.
Okay, so where can they find us?
Perception, 222. That's the only name you put because YouTube is like, but someone already has it. But yeah, you can find us at Perception the Podcast, and follow us, like, subscribe, comment, tell us what you think, your opinions, your views. We would love to hear that, honestly, because it's your development, our development, and our understanding, we understand. Everything is just simultaneously going together. Yeah. But yeah.
Well, we are still in the design process of this podcast, so definitely your opinions are valuable. Thank you for watching.